All right. Good morning, everyone. Futures Brizio here. Just getting everything set up here. We are live on this. Whoops. Hold on. Yeah. So it is Tuesday, April 7th, 2026, 9:50 a.m. NYC time. And I'll just take myself out of the picture there for a sec. And I just figured I'd jump in here and do a live stream. This is a little bit different for me here instead of just the pre recorded videos. And so we'll just jump right in here. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Any questions, comments, leave them down below. And of course, this will be in my recorded video list after the stream ends. And so you can check it out then if you don't get to see it live here. Okay, so we'll just jump right in, and we're going to take a look at the forex market here first, and so like we've been talking about here, guys, using the currency strength indicator. Now, I've got two versions of it running here. Really, very minor difference. This is with a 21-day look back. This is with a 14. I've been telling you guys I've been experimenting around with using different ones, settings, whether it's the 7, the 14, 21, 34. So I keep jumping around a little bit here. Not exactly sure, how I want to ultimately land on this. But right now, somewhere between 14 and 21 seems to be a good in between spot. So we'll probably fixate a little bit. In fact, just for the sake of this video, uh, I'm just going to take the 14 off of here, and we'll just go with the 21. It's not really that big of a deal. Okay, so first of all, from a we'll just go right from the top. I don't think I'm going to go through every pair. Um, But basically, again, what we're looking for here is at the right edge of the screen, we're looking to see what is the CSI indicator doing. And this is the CAD Swiss. So the first currency in the pair is always this red line, and the second currency is the blue line. Okay. And we're either looking for trend continuation signals, which is basically the two lines coming together and then kind of diverging off each other again, sort of like that magnet theory I've talked about. And the second way is with a crossover, which can represent a trend reversal. Okay, and I'm on the daily chart here. This is the time frame I primarily use for this indicator, and that's generally what I use. So on the CAD Swiss, kind of flat right now. You can see we've got a little bit of flat price action. We still do have the CAD line slightly on top. So we'll see, but to me there's no trade here right now. If we start to get these two diverging away from each other, like say the red line starts to bend up, the blue down, then this could be a potential long setup. You can see we're kind of range bound in this market. It had been going down for quite a while, and then it's looks like it's trying to form a base. We had like a quadruple bottom sit right here, and now it's just again, it's just not doing a heck of a lot, and so we'll see what happens. But if this starts to bend and we get divergence away on the two lines here, this could be a nice long, but there's nothing there at the moment. The Australian dollar has been showing some strength lately. I'm actually long a couple of Aussie pairs in my funded accounts, and so this is another one. That is showing some potential life. But that's not the best one to me because the Canadian dollar could also be showing some strength. So again, if you have two strong currencies against each other or two weak ones, you tend to get not a lot of price action, trending. So this is one to watch, but again, nothing too great. But if we start to get divergence, if the CAD does start to weaken, then this would be a good long too. But not one that I'm really favoriting right now. This is another Canadian. You're going to see a kind of a common theme here with the CAD pairs. This is the pound CAD. Again, just kind of in a potentially transitional phase, but nothing really going on at the moment. The dollar CAD, again, nothing. You see the lines are pretty well separated. I mean, that means like the last entry was really back here, which is where we had this last impulsive move up. So nothing really to do with that one. Oops, just hit my microphone. And this is the Euro USD. Okay, again, not really too much going on there. We had two lines sloping up, so that tends to, lead to, stronger price action on both, which is why we've got sideways price action. The Euro Swiss had a nice breakout back here. I just started following this pair, so I didn't catch this entry, but I am long on it now from here, which of course is a late entry, but I felt like it could probably make some more upside move and head towards at least some old resistance areas like up here. So I am long the Euro Swiss, dollar Swiss. Yeah, again, not much really happening right now. The last entry was way back here. Okay, so again, I'm just looking at the right edge of the chart. This one's kind of interesting. This is Euro Aussie, and this one is actually going against kind of the Australian dollar kind of strengthening, although not exactly. You can see we've kind of come together here. We had the Euro Aussie going up, and now we've kind of flattened out. And so this is kind of an interesting one to see what this one ends up doing. It's looking pretty bullish. So if we start to get some divergence away here, that could indicate that maybe the Aussie is actually going to weaken. I've actually been seeing quite a bit of strength in the Aussie, but this is a good bellwether one because we had a little crossover. Market rallied out of these lows, and this price action down here looks fairly bullish. So this one's on my watch list to see what that one does. Euro Canadian, again, the last buy signal. Well, I mean you see, we had a sell signal here, and then we've had a little crossover, uh, buy signal back here, but nothing really to do with that if you're not already in it. So, um, pound AUD again was talking about Aussie strength. So of course, this one's tend to be pushing the pound Aussie down. And so, like I said, the Australian dollar is a little bit interesting right now. We're getting a lot of conflicting signals on it. But I am short on pound AUD. This is another one that I'm in, but I'm watching it pretty close because this was pretty impulsive move up. So, if we'll see what happens if this starts to really bend up, if this Australian dollar starts to really tank down, then we'll have to rethink that trade. But for now, I'm in that one short. Nothing really on pound Kiwi. Nothing going on Euro Kiwi. Now, again, when I say nothing going, I'm looking again at the right edge of the chart. Okay, so from here, there was a long signal. This was back on March 19th. March 19th, March 20th, we had this buy signal. Actually, March 20th is where it really kicked in with this candle, and that you could have still been in this one long. Pound USD, again, there was a short signal back here on last week, or would that be last week, March 25th. Um, but nothing happened right at the moment. Uh, Again, Aussie USD, you know, this is again some conflict because on this pair, now I was talking about the Aussie being kind of strong, but on this pair, this is showing the US dollar, stronger. And, it did look like we were trying to push down. So again, I'll say it again that the Aussie is in a kind of an interesting place right now. A lot of conflict. You very rarely see these conflicting signals. It's usually pretty clear once you look at a couple of pairs. to, it should be at least somewhat obvious to say that a particular currency is either strong or weak or neutral. And I'm getting a lot of conflicting signals on the Aussie. So to me, that might be pointing more towards neutrality than any particular strength or weakness, because depending which pair you look at, you're getting different views of it. So that could again just be just general kind of flat, not strong, not weak, just kind of like going with the flow, and more influenced by the yellow currency it's paired up with. So the New Zealand dollar USD just continues to tank. Um, and again, this was our last sell signal was back here on March 2nd. This just continues to go down. Canadian dollar yen, um, again, kind of flat right now. We did have some sell signal here, but not really much going on at the moment. All right. Aussie yen, again, more conflict with the Aussie. Is this, more of a, you know, are we seeing just more strength out of the yen here rising, or what? But we're just kind of like flatlined right now after this move down. So let's see what happens. So basically what I'm gonna, do, I am in a couple of Aussie trades right now, but I'm basically just gonna wait and see if we start to get divergence on these things. And then, in which case that'll be more clear. But again, a lot of mixed signals on this right now. New Zealand dollar yen, nothing currently. Again, we had a sell signal back here. All right, euro yen, very flatlined. It's trying to break higher, but you can see we had kind of both sides of the coin here moving up, and that was causing this sideways price action. We're back at the upper end of this range again, and we'll see. What I'd like to see is to get this yen line to bend down, and I think that would, really push this thing higher. But right now, we're just back to the upper end of this range. Looks like it's trying to trend higher out of that. If we just kind of take a general look here at the price action, perhaps some kind of a rising wedge here. But it's just it's not obvious at the moment. So this is not one I'm trading. I'd like to see some definitive breakout here, one way or another. Swiss yen has kind of gone into also a bit of a sideways pattern after a really nice run up. It's just kind of sitting here. And again, we've got kind of flat line. Dollar yen, nothing doing at the moment. Again, both rising. And so we did have a run up, but now you can see we're kind of ranging a little bit as both currencies start to strengthen a little bit. And again, that brings you into this kind of choppy price action, which is another good thing about this indicator is that, it'll show you when both are kind of trending together. So you're not gonna, it's easier to stay out of the choppy markets, because when you see them both lines going in the same direction, although it doesn't necessarily mean there'll be sideways price action, it's indicating that there probably will be at least a flattening off of price action. And if you're taking a longer term view of these, like on a daily chart, you're going to start running into hitting, in this case, resistance areas and pulling back, which is what we're seeing here. So that's why you really need to see that divergence in direction. Pound Swiss looks like it's trying to go higher. We did have a lot of consolidation here. You can see both lines kind of relatively flat in here, and still is. Um, but again, I'd like to see some more divergence. So this one's pretty good, and I am in Aussie Swiss long. But again, there's a lot of conflict with these Aussie pairs. So although I'm in this one long, it does make me I'm not totally sold on it, because we could easily just roll over here and go back down. If this was, a break of market structure here, which I'm not sure if it was, we came down, now we're back up retesting this area, does this hold and we just keep going higher, or was this more of the structure area down here, in which case we didn't break it? I don't know, but Again, a little bit of conflict, the Aussie, but I was basically taking this on some weakness in the Swiss. And so, we'll see how that goes. And then New Zealand Swiss is just nothing. Again, both trending down, and you can see just kind of very choppy. Yes, it is trending down, but you can see it's very choppy and a lot of overlapping. This is, a lot of whipsawing going on, and we're still essentially inside of a range here. So this isn't one I've traded in a while. Aussie Kiwi, I was in this long. I closed this out at these highs right here. So you can see it did wick and try to go a little bit higher, but I am not in this trade anymore. It was a nice long here. Uh, and if the Aussie continues to strengthen, this will continue to go up because the New Zealand dollar is pretty weak right now. But I just closed it at these highs with a little bit of uncertainty uh, in the um, in the Australian dollar, and I had a nice profit on it, so I just decided just to walk away from that one. So you can see not a heck of a lot going on. So a few things on the watch list, couple of Aussie trades open, but overall, not a lot of great setups right now. We'll jump over here and just take a quick look at futures. Nothing really has changed here, so I'm going to jump down to the 4-hour chart. This is wheat, and again, if we just zoom out here, still kind of trading inside of this range, right? This is basically the box that I drew last week. And other than these little fake outs here at the top and bottom of the range, we're pretty much just holding inside of this range. Um, and you can see we bounced off it and heading higher again. I don't like trading these. I know a lot of people like to trade these ranges where, they'll go long off the bottom and short off the top. And, if you went long off the bottom, then this is looking like a pretty good trade right now. It is going up. Um, but I would just rather see it break and, just continue to trend in one direction or another. It's kind of the same story with corn. It's a much uglier range, but essentially it is inside a range here. And you can see, essentially where um, at the bottom of this range again and trying to go higher, right? Broke off the bottom, came back, tried to go lower, and then it looks like it's trying to go higher. But so there is potential longs there, at least on a short-term basis in wheat and corn. Soybeans completely dead in the water. I mean, look at these candles are just getting smaller and smaller. Also in a range, but I mean, look at this for the last at least 6 or 7. You look at this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So at least the last day and a half it has gone absolutely nowhere. So nothing doing in soybeans. I think, like I said, in wheat and corn, there's potentially some day trades there on off the range bounces. And then just really quick with the currency futures. So again, these are just kind of like individual currencies trading on the futures exchange. And I do use this sometimes to help confirm. We look at the Australian dollar. So this is the Australian dollar currency, and I need to go back to the daily chart. So this is Australian currency futures, it's not a Forex pair. And I was telling you about some conflict with the Aussie. And if you look at this now, the blue line on all of these currency futures is the US dollar index, the DXY, kind of as the comparator. And that does work out pretty well in terms of these moves. And on this, the DXY is showing higher. It's definitely showing more strength versus the Aussie. So in this case, the Aussie is looking pretty weak. All right, and then this is Aussie US dollar futures. So this is basically the futures version of the Aussie US Forex pair. Again, it looks pretty much identical. So that's another part of the conflict because in the futures market, the Aussie's looking fairly weak. And this is the Euro futures. Again, both against the dollar, both kind of moving sideways. Not any real big divergence per se. They're just really kind of mirror image of each other going sideways, and we do see that kind of reflected here in choppy price action. So really hasn't been any trades there. The here's the New Zealand dollar, and again, last bearish entry was back here on February 27th, and like we saw in Forex, it just continues to go down, but there's no entry opportunity at the moment. And then the British pound, also relatively flat. I mean, it has trended down because the dollar's been a little strong, so the dollar is still on top. Uh, and there was some little bit of recent strength in the pound, so but overall this is still fairly bearish against the dollar anyways. So, and same thing with the Swiss franc. I think this, it still has some opportunity to go lower, but again, still kind of flattening out here. um the yen, pretty much the same deal. And, the Canadian dollar really was the best one here. The Canadian and the New Zealand dollar in terms of actual trending opportunities were the best here. A lot of these are just kind of just sitting here, not really doing much. I think there's a lot of uncertainty, like with the war in Iran and everything. There's just a lot of uncertainty. So the market's just kind of, pausing and not making any big moves. And we can kind of see that, there are some trends going on, but overall we're not making a lot of headway direction on these things. So, um, that's just kind of the way it is sometimes. If we go to the 4-hour chart, you can look at these futures on the 4-hour chart too, like I do with like wheat and corn and soybeans, um, to get some other opportunities. And remember, I'm looking at a 21-day CSI here too. So, this sometimes is an opportunity to maybe make this 7 instead of 14 to kind of, but you can see what it does. It just makes the indicator real noisy. And I'm not really sure if it really gives you anything else other than a lot of, potential mixed signals here. So, all right. So that's why I tend to just leave it either at 14 or 21, you know. Both of those 14 or 21 are going to give you essentially the same view, just a little tighter together. Yeah, I mean, it really didn't even change when I went from 14 to 21. So, anyways, yeah, so that's about it, guys. Not a super exciting day here, at least, off the daily chart. Um, there are some things on the watch list, but overall fairly quiet at the moment. And so we're just gonna, you know, kind of go with that and just hope that we, get some breakouts and get things to finally start moving again, one way or another. So I'm gonna leave it there on the stream. Again, this video obviously will be posted in the video section afterwards for replay. And make sure you like the video. Any questions, comments, make sure you leave them down there. And if you're interested in me doing another live stream, I could have scheduled this one just so people knew about it, but I'm just trying out this StreamYard software. The only thing I don't like about it, I'm looking at my other monitor where I can see the live stream, is there's a lot of dead space. I know you guys, if you're watching this, there's a lot of dead space above and below the video where it's not like filling in. And I know it makes it probably a little bit harder for you guys to see what I'm looking at here. I mean, I can zoom in on the screen, but I'm trying to figure out how to actually fill in this dead space here. But I'm not sure if I can. I need to look into it a little bit more. So, but anyways, guys, I will leave it there. Again, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk to everybody soon. Have a great rest of the day. All right, take care.